Okay, the next topic we're going to cover in the aggregation pipeline is going to be the unwind command. And I want to go ahead and actually let's look at some records where this would be valid. Uh, for this one, we wanted to get the count of inspections in Florida. Well, if we wanted to see if inspections exist, and I know I'm going to switch over to the JSON view, we have inspection here, so maybe I'll say, um, let's see, inspection, and I'll say $exist as true. Let's see if we give that a run. We get 42 documents. And here's where working with arrays is both it's a benefit, but it does cause some challenges. And let's take a look at these documents. We have an inspection array, and these are, by the way, fake data. Please don't go ahead and tell your friends, oh, don't eat at this restaurant. But what we have here is it's an array, and we have two inspections with a date, a score, a validation count, and a comment. So this company here, what is it, Jerry and Joe's Pizza, have two inspections. As we go down, we see that this company here has three inspections, three different dates, three different scores, two inspections, three inspections. Anyway, they can have any number of inspections, which means the inspection array may not exist. We may have one inspection, or we may have four inspections, or we may have 100 inspections. I really don't know, but we need to go ahead and work with this data. Now in SQL, what we would normally do is create an inspection table and then perhaps link it to the ID here, and perhaps in this inspection table there would be a primary key, a location ID, and then a date, score, violation count, and comment. And that works in SQL because we can create foreign keys between tables. In Mongo, we don't want to do that because there are no foreign keys, and we could fudge them, but that really defeats the purpose and will cut down on the performance of Mongo. And we'll get into the why later on and why that destroys the performance. But for now, let's just go with the fact that we do want to put things in arrays, and how do we work with them? So, if we want to get the count of inspections, meaning I don't want to get the count of, when I run this query, 42, because there's 42 documents. There's more inspections, because right now I'm just saying get me all the documents where the inspection exists. However, there's 2 on this one, again 3 on this one, so I know we have in upwards of 60, maybe even 70 inspections on 42 locations. So I want to go ahead and just make that clear. Okay, so if I want to get the count of inspections, here's what we can do. First thing, again, the match works just like a find. So what I did here, where I said find where the inspection exists, I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Let's do a match where the inspection exists. And that'll go ahead and return the 42 documents. Now, if I say unwind inspection, it's an interesting command, unwind. Here's what it's going to do. It's going to take, start with the first one, this document. And because we're unwinding the inspection, meaning we said $, let me go back, $ inspection here, because we unwound or unwind on that field, what it's going to do is for every one of those elements in the array, so for this and for this, it's going to turn inspection from an array to just a document, and what we're going to end up is all of these fields, inspection, and then this value, but not that value, as one document. And then it's also going to give us all of these fields and then the second one. Essentially what it's doing is, if you want to think multiplication, it's taking the inspection and however many elements are in here is going to match this up to the main document and put it off as a separate document. So I'm going to go ahead and run it, And then I'm going to modify it so we can see how this unwind is working better. So now if I go ahead and I run this, let's go back over here. I'm not only going to do an unwind, and then I'm going to say do a group. ID is 0, so we're just going to get the sum. We're not grouping by a particular field. But then I say count sum 1. Again, 1 just continually adds 1 to it. So what this ends up doing is just giving us that there were 71 inspections done on those documents. Now, I'm going to go ahead and modify it. I'm going to get rid of let's do this. I'm going to get rid of this group command, and let me paste it, and we'll go over this. So I'm going to do my aggregate. I'm going to only get those with inspections, and then I'm just going to unwind inspection. And normally, I want to compare it side by side. Jerry and Joe's Pizza is one document, but when we do unwind now, watch this. Scroll all the way back to the top if I can find Jerry and Joe's. Here we go. What we're going to get here is here's Jerry and Joe's Pizza, but inspection now, instead of being an array, we take out the array and we only kept this, so it's now an inspection, instead of being an array of objects, is just an object. And look here. Here's Jerry and Joe again with the second object, cold storage issue, cold storage issue. So literally it does unwind it. It takes a document and then based on an array turns it into multiple documents. And if we keep going down, here's that, what's the name of this food? Yardbird Southern Table. Well, if we look over here at Yardbird, it had 1, 2, 3 elements in the inspection array. So now there's 1, there's the second Yardbird, there's the third Yardbird. Again, because we unwound on this, which makes it really convenient. That's a very interesting way to deal with having to do aggregates on array values. And you can unwind multiple things if you go multiple levels of an array. All right, next one. We're still going to work with unwind, but this time I want the average inspection score. So first I'm going to do a match. Say we want to make sure inspection exists, and the state is Florida. Next we unwind inspection, which is what we have here. We have the unwind value. Now I'm still going to go ahead and do a group by nothing. So again, group where the ID is 0 is like not having a group by. It's going to group it all to the same value, to the same group by value. However, instead of using count here, I'm going to say the average score is the average score. And now we can reference inspection dot score because there's the inspection. It's no longer an array. It doesn't have multiple values. Inspection dot score will give us this 3.9. So now, let's make sure I grab the right one here. I'm going to run this inspection dot score, and again it's a 0. The ID is a 0 because it's grouped everyone together. It was just kind of like a placeholder, and the average score was 3.8 for all locations that had inspections in Florida. The one nice thing about writing this, and I know it seems confusing and it's a lot, is you can write one statement or part of the statement at a time and run the match first. Okay, we have the data we want to work with. Next, run the unwind. Look at the data. Next, do the group by. You can do it step by step. Okay, let's go a little further in detail. I want to get all the Florida locations with inspections, and then I want to get their average score by location. So meaning, Jerry and Joe's here has 2 of them. I want to find Jerry and Joe, and I want to know that it's the average of 4.3 and 4.7. But I want that done for each different location. So what we're going to do is do the same thing, do the match, do the unwind, do the group by, and then we're going to do the average score and get the count. Well, I'm getting a count just to see how many there are. What's different is this part right here. The ID has to be a single field, and I'm going to get back the concatenation, basically an object. I'm going to turn the ID into an object. But if I get back the ID field, meaning if I get back 56309, I'd be like, I really don't know what that means. I really don't know what location that is. So what I'm doing is, instead of just returning the ID, I'm saying let's make the ID and also add on the name so we can see what actual location it is. So what I'm going to do over here, yep, here it is. Now, I'll scroll back up. There should only be 42 of them. It did order them, but we get the ID. I have the ID and the name. And then over here, I have the average score and the count. Now, the reason I did this, made the ID an object like this, is whenever you do the group, the first, let me go back to that last slide there. This first value here has to be what you're grouping by. So if you hard code as 0, it's going to, of course, group by that. And I could have put the $ID there. However, I can't say the ID and then afterwards put name as like a separate field. The reason is we're grouping by this, and then everything else must be an aggregate. I can't have non-aggregates after this first element of the group by. So I went ahead and actually put it as an object like that. But again, this is the more complex aggregations that you can do with Mongo. But anyway, I hope this explained the aggregate pipeline. You will have one or two questions on this week's lab for this. So let's see here. That concludes this lesson. Thank you.